Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In this video, I'm going to find out why my outside door handle on my 2000 Honda Civic isn't working anymore. The inside door handle works, but the outside does not. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with at least these older style type of handles, and this will go the same thing with a lock as well, what you're actually doing is you're moving a rod inside the door. I don't know if it's just a clip broke apart or a bolt is loose, but I don't imagine this being a very difficult fix. So I think this is going to be very DIY friendly. So with that in mind, what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright, this is our tools list. So I have my socket set. I have a big flathead, small flathead, needle nose pliers, Phillips screwdriver, and then a flashlight because we're going to be working in confined space. Guys, this is what I believe I need for tools for this job, so let's get started. Alright guys, so this is our outer door handle. It doesn't work, but the inside door handle works. So I need to take off the inside door panel to get this off. So because the handle is up here, the window is rolled down about halfway down the door. The first thing that needs to be done is the window needs to be rolled up. And then we'll take out the couple of screws that are holding the door panel on. Alright, so for our door panel, we have a screw back here, one here. The crank handle for the window has to be taken off. And then there are 3 screws on the bottom around the speaker. Once all of these screws and clips have been taken off, the panel can be popped out from the plastic clips holding it into the door. So to take the plastic cover off, you just need to slide it up through the hole. And guys, as usual, this is for the handle here, this screw here. And then this screw here is for the upper. So you have a flat section. So guys, make sure that you don't confuse what screw goes where. Alright, so there are 3 screws under this cover, so just pop it off. And then we have 1, 2, 3. So with that out of the way, now we can do the handle. So there's a C-clip that comes in from this side. So what you need to do is you just need to separate it, one of the wings, and then pop the C-clip off, and then you can take off the handle. Alright, so this is the handle. It has a bunch of teeth on the inside that catches on this. And then the C-clip, it would go like this. So the end of the clip would catch in this channel here. So to remove the C-clip, what you're essentially going to do is you're going to just take your flathead and then slide one of these ends off. And then slide the other one off, and then it should come off. And then when we go to reinstall this, you want the C-clip just at the very top. So you'll want it like that, and then with the flathead, you're just going to push, and then the clip will clamp into the groove over there. Alright guys, I forgot that there are 3 screws over here. So pop off the speaker cover. And then we have 1, 2, 3 screws. Alright, so our 3 screws is there, and then there. These are all the same type of Phillips. So once these screws are taken out, the panel will be able to be removed. One other thing is the speaker is still attached to the panel itself, and there is, I believe there's a wiring harness that you can detach. So that'll have to be detached before the actual panel can be taken away from the door. Otherwise, the speaker here will still be connected. Okay, so these are the screws for the speaker. All three are the same. Alright, the panel can be removed now. Alright, so for our speaker, this clip is about to break off, but you can close the clip, but the plastic here is so old that it's breaking apart. And then you have these two tabs. So you have a tab here and a tab here. All you need to do is compress the tab with some needle nose pliers like this and give it a pull. And guys, because the plastic is old, try to be careful. Alright, so now we can remove the plastic. They had a sealant here once before, but I just used duct tape. So our handle is up here in this hole. Alright, I found the problem. This clip up here, right there, it's cracked. You can see the line. So right here, this line right here, that's where it's cracked. So this is, the plastic is old and brittle. But what I'll do is, I'll take out this bolt here, and then this bolt here, and then we'll take the handle off the door. Alright, so that is the one bolt that we need to take out, and then the other one is right there. These are both 10 mils, so I'm going to go through the hole here, and then that one I'll just go through the bigger opening. Okay, so these are our bolts. They're both the same. Where the light is shining, there is a C-clip that is holding the lock barrel to the rod. This needs to be removed. Alright, so this rod was supposed to be disconnected from this, but this is completely broken off, which is fine. So looking in the hole, right in this channel here, there's a clip that is holding this here. So the clip goes like this. So through this channel, I'm going to try to pop the one side out, and then through this hole down here, I'm going to try to pry the clip out. Alright, so I pushed the clip down from here. So right here is where the clip needs to be taken out. So use a flathead screwdriver and pry it out. Okay, so there's the bottom of the clip. And there it goes. Now the handle can be taken off. Alright, so here are the parts. So the bracket goes over here. And then we'll have our lock. That slides over like that. So right here is where this clip will go. And right here is the little channel in the window to unclip the clip. So you have to pull it out from here, and then in this channel here, you'll pull this out from the bottom. Okay, so this is what happened with this. This broke off too, but the idea was that this would be hooked onto the rod like this. And then these two would be connected here. And when you did that, that actuate the rod here. But all the plastic here is old, it's broken. Even this plastic clip here is no good. So in this case, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see if I can buy a replacement door handle itself. I'm not going to go to an auto wrecker because based on how difficult this was to take apart, to try to take it apart in the auto wrecker just to have 20-something-year-old plastic would be a nightmare in itself. So I'm going to see online if I can buy a replacement door handle and reinstall it on the car. Alright, this is our materials list. So this is the new handle. I bought this from a place online. Because this is plastic, I suggest you go with something new. I also have compared this handle with the old one, and they do match. So make sure that you compare and match them right away before you go any further. And then I have some touch-up paint here. Painting is purely optional on your end if you want to do it, but I'm going to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint the handle with 2 coats of paint, and once it's dry, I'm going to install it on the car. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to put the handle back into the hole. So we have the screw hole there, and then we have the other screw hole there. We're going to just put this one on first, and that's going to hold the handle in place, at least for the time being. Alright, so next our bracket will go on. And then our lock barrel will go on. So this will only go one way. It has a bigger side here, and then it has a smaller side here. And that'll correspond with the bracket. You can see the small side and the big side. So this will only go on one way. Alright, next we'll get the other bolt back in. Guys, once again, this is a 10mm. Alright, so next we have to get this clip back into the groove. Back there, so... Alright, so the next thing we have to do is get this clip back onto here. So the easiest way I found to do this is take your key, put it into the lock, by putting it into the lock, that's going to push the whole barrel out. So make sure that everything gets pushed back in. Alright, now that we have everything lined up, it's time to get the C-clip back on. Alright, so I got the clip in place. So once again, what I did was I pushed on the key on the outside, and then I got the clip in position, and now it should be just slide it down. Alright, so the next thing we have to do is get the rod here back up into the plastic clip here. Now, because everything here is new, it should be relatively easy just to slide back on. Alright, so everything looks like it's back in place now. So guys, really quickly, one thing. There is a bar that goes across here. I lost a C-clip in behind this bar. So what I would suggest is maybe throw a rag or piece of paper towel. You see the bar there? And that's going to save you some time, unlike myself. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is put this plastic cover back on. I took it out to give myself more space. Alright, with that out of the way, the plastic here, I'm just going to reuse the duct tape if I can. You can use tuck tape, or you can seal it if you want to, but I'm not going to. Alright, now I'm going to bring the interior panel, and the first thing we need to do is connect the speaker. Alright, I connected the speaker, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the car to the on position. I'm going to test, make sure that this is working. It's a lot easier to fix something now, like take out the stereo if it's not working, or if you have another problem before you install the interior door panel. Alright, so I tested the stereo, it works. So before putting the panel back on, take out this cover for the mirror. So for this panel, we have to get it over this top rail, and then you got to push it in. Alright, so the panel is over the top lip, so now just give it a bang around the bottom. Alright, so we're going to put our cover back in for our mirror. Alright, with the door panel back on, I'm going to put the inside handle back in, the cover back in, and the 3 screws on the bottom. Alright, so we have our covers back on, so the last thing we're going to do is put on our handle. So leave the back end here with a little bit of space. Once this is slid on to this here, what I'm going to do is with a flat iron, I'm just going to push this on and then give it a tug. Alright, so the handle is on. Alright, so our door handle is back on, everything is back in place. So this job is now done. So what we're going to do now is an overview of this job. Alright guys, so that concludes this project. So I would suggest if you're going to do this, make sure that you give yourself something like an afternoon. There's not that much to it, but working in a confined space and small parts, I mean, I lost a C-clip and it took me a little while to find it where it was. That's what I was saying about the bar inside the door. Otherwise, for the most part, everything went well. I ran into a couple hiccups, nothing major. I suggest thoroughly test before you put the door panel back on, because if you run into an issue, the last thing you want to do is have to take the door panel back off and then do this all over again. The time on this job. The time was about 3 hours. Like I said, I did run into a couple issues, but it wasn't anything that I couldn't figure out. This being a confined space to work in, it can be tough to see sometimes. The cost of this job. The handle and the paint were probably about $70 in total. I would recommend go with a brand new part in this case because plastic doesn't last all that long. I mean, here it lasted 23 years, but go with something brand new so you won't have to do this again in the future. If you get an auto record part, I mean the plastic is old, it's brittle, and it's becoming a thing now where every piece of plastic on this car, as soon as I look at it, it breaks or shatters or disintegrates into a million pieces. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you to replace your door handle that much easier than what I had to do. Guys, till next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.